Yo, hello guys. Welcome to Crypto MC. Today we need to talk about Bitcoin's bounce. We've got an insane bounce that happened tonight. We tickled another new all-time high level on some exchanges, and the question is that was I right for selling? Okay, so we need to debate that and what I'm expecting for Bitcoin and the alts for the rest of the week. And also what I'm going to show you guys today is I'm going to show you three simple tricks that you can apply to your trading that will change your life. It will probably increase your trading efficiency by 80%, in my opinion. Okay, so let's get into this. Good morning, Renee. Thanks for joining. Who else do we have live? There's about a few people joining in live now. As you know, I'm no longer streaming to any of the other platforms, just YouTube, so the numbers are way lower. But okay, guys, jump in. Morning, Chris. Nice to have you here. And okay, let's get to the charts real quick. So you guys know this chart. This is my track record. It's everything we've been doing on this channel together. So we nailed a couple of really good shorts. We nailed a couple of really good longs. And we've pretty much navigated Bitcoin, in my opinion, really well. I'm looking at my own portfolio. I'm thinking, yeah, you did okay. It's not been bad. But now we're sitting in a situation where we've got this short. This is the current play that we're looking at. And that play is in question. That's the one that I'm saying, is this bounce the right one? Is this bounce the move that's going to push us maybe even higher? What's the story here? I need to make sure that we are not going to get trapped on the wrong side. Okay. So let's take a step back and look at those steps. I want to show you guys the steps that I think that we need. Okay, so I've made a few notes for you, and let's bring them on. Let's have a look at those notes. So simple. We first need to be able to identify whether we're in an impulse or in a correction, because by doing so, identifying that, you'll be able to then know whether what is happening in here is a correction or just another stall or wait, or what needs to happen there. So let's talk through this real quick. Okay. So how do we identify an impulse? Also, first thing is, what is an impulse? Okay. Impulse is when the market is trending up nice and strong, or trending down nice and strong. A correction is when the market is going sideways. This is all corrections. Okay. So although something is going bearish, it's not necessarily a correction. We might be trending bearish, guys. And this is a big misperception that a lot of traders have. When we're going up, we're trending, and we're coming down, we're correcting. No, it's not the case. Coming down could potentially be that you're trending down as well. So there's differences, and that's when we want to be shorting the market. So we always want to short the market when we're trending in whichever direction, when we're trending bearish, okay? And we want to long the market when we're trending bullish. And that's how we've been able to sit on the good trades for the most of the time. Okay, so that's the main thing. Now, with that, now that you know what's the difference between an impulse and a correction, the trick is now to identify an impulse and a correction. So the first rule is, as I've got here, candles have little to no blend of bull versus bear candles. So if we're looking at an impulse, and let's maybe move over to this chart like this. So if we have an impulse in the market, you can clearly see that when the market is moving, there's a very little blend of candles. It's all predominantly the candles in favor of the trend. It's true for bull. It's true for bear as well. There's a lot of white, very little blue when we're trending. Okay. And then the second thing is the size of the candles will always be bigger in the direction of the impulse. So if you look at this bearish trend that we had here, the bigger candles, or the biggest candles that you can identify, let's look at them. That white candle is way bigger than any of the preceding blue candles. That white candle is way bigger than any of the other preceding blue candles. Okay. If we look at where the stop was, that's the last big blue candle. And from that point onwards, there was a little bit of a blend, and then the bigger candles were the white candles. So just by reading the size of the candle, you can immediately almost determine whether we're in a bullish or a bearish trend, for that matter. So looking at all of this price action, okay, when does the blue candles become bigger than the white candles? Around these lows. That's why we went long. And then from that point on, you can clearly see the bigger the candle, that's the direction. Okay. Then the last thing that you need to know before you can say that you're definitely in impulses, you'll find that impulses will have very little wicks at the bottom. Okay. Very little wicks. So if you're in an environment where there's blue candles, but there's a lot of wicks, that's still not impulse territory. That's still correction territory. Okay. Now, the opposite will be true when we talk about a correction in the sense. So where an impulse is big, solid candles in the direction of the market, a correction would be a blend of candles. The candles will have a blend of bull versus bear candles. There's a big blend of candles, okay? Where an impulse will have big candles in favor of the direction of the trend. Correction, you will see that the candles actually are smaller than the body. The bodies of the candles are actually smaller than the wicks. So look at this. Look at those bodies. Look at those bodies. Look at those bodies. So now you're getting a situation where the wicks are actually smaller than the candle bodies. And there's a blend. They're not all one color. There's multiple colors overlapping each other. That's when you know you're in a correction. And then the last big thing is you'll have bigger wicks on both of the bull and the bear candles than you would normally have. Okay, so if you look at this, where's the wicks? Very little wicks, very little wicks, very little wicks, and then a hell of a lot of wicks. Okay. Then you're correcting. So using this then, looking at impulse versus correction, this is the reason why I didn't take any of this recording. And let maybe do this. I want to take away the positions and the setup shared so that the screen is nice and clean. And I'll take away the notes. We can always refer back to them when we need them. Okay. So this is why when we were going along here, I didn't take any of this correction serious. Because in the end of the day, any of these candles, all of them basically, are not outperforming any of the blue candles leading to that range. That's the truth. Now here's where the change is coming. Now we're sitting in a situation where the dynamic is shifting. We've got bigger white candles than we've got blue candles. Bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, and now we're not making a higher high. Yes, price went to 107 again last night. Okay, that raises the question for the video. Is this critical bounce support what is needed for the market to break out, or what can we expect? And now I'm saying to you guys that if we look at this dynamic, this is changing. The dynamic for bulls being in control is changing. And this is the candle progression that is basically shifting that favor into that of the bears. That's why I'm no longer looking to try and buy the dip. Okay. Now, as we know from TA, it's very easy to tell you what you should have done. But what I try and do is to try and teach you guys, empower you guys so that you can actually do this for yourself leading into the future. So if you look at these highs over here, how is this any different? So if you look at the previous high, the previous time we were at 107, okay? What happened was you've had strong blue candles, and once the dynamic starts shifting, the white candles start getting bigger than the blue candles on average. Start getting bigger than the blue candles. The trend started changing. This is the time in the market where the market's asking the question, is this still bullish? And it doesn't necessarily mean the market is now going to just be bearish forever. It means that it then moves into a distribution or an accumulation phase. Price is changing hands. Coins are changing hands. That's when we lateral range trending. That's when I give you guys all the support and resistance levels. So where we're at now, we're sitting in that same situation where the market now is starting to ask that question. So what's the best thing we need to do for our trading going forward? Simple. We need to identify the upper and the lower end of the range. Okay, let's do that. That would be resistance. And that would be support. And just like yesterday, when I said we need to try and get a buy at 100, we didn't quite go to 100. The market now needs to kind of find its way out. And as soon as this price falls back below that red line, it's going to be open season for the market to come back all the way down and potentially then move that, move the price a little bit lower because of this pivot, okay, because of this. And that is why the short position that I shared from yesterday is still a valid short for me. Okay. Although I said move stop to break even, I didn't expect it to go back that quick. I'm still going to be taking that short. I'm still going to hunt for more shorts on the basis that this needs to retrace, and we'll probably go and test 97, 98 at minimum. Okay, there you have it. There's all the information that you need, guys, all in 10 minutes. Okay, so let's see where at. Dean says he's still in the short from 106. Nice, Dean. Good morning, Paulo. Good morning, Kilian. Guys, if there's any questions, more than welcome to drop them to me. Now, here's the reminder. Video is brought to you by PrimeXBT. What you can do is you can open your PrimeXBT account and come and trade with me in my Discord. Simple. Click on the link below in the video description. Get your Prime account. You can use make sure that it's got the Crypto AMC logo and everything in there. You know you've got the right link. Okay. You can come trade with me. I'm currently in that short, and I still have short positions that I want to try and get in. And I do that in the Discord. It's as simple as that. So what you can do is you can go to the Discord and you can claim your access by going to the navigation channel and click on the partner roles button and say, I've got a PrimeXBT account and I want my access. You click on your claim button. The button will ask you a few questions. If all's well, if you did open your account and all those things, all the access and everything will be awarded to you, and you will be able to come and join the public trade chat, and you will actually be able to talk to everybody in the Discord. Okay, simple as that. So it's all in your hands, guys. And here's the kicker that I want to share with you guys. For this week only, up until the first 5 people that do this, open a PrimeXBT account, fund it with $3,000 worth of their trading capital. You need to have that. You know, you're not selling your spot for this. Okay. If you do that, I will give you guys 90 days access to my private group. Okay. All and everything that goes in there. This week only. Okay, make sure to grab it. Now let's look at the other alts. Okay, now let's get back to the chart. So when I normally trade, what I'm trying to do is I try and look at the market from a typical multi-time frame analysis. So we always start at a weekly time frame, and like I said last week, the weekly target's still for me large time frame. Though we're in a short on a 4-hour now, you know, this short. The weekly time frame, that's a 4-hour, this is a weekly, is still pointing to the market going to at least 120. So the longer outlook is still there. But the problem that I have with BTC, and this is, people say, well, why sell now if you believe it's still going to go higher? I'm not worried about price being there for a moment on my hodl bags or anything like that, my larger swings. Why? Because it's not locked in gains. It's just going to make you look rich for a moment, and then it's going to sell back down again. I'm looking to get out, and I'm looking to buy another dip that will give me a higher high, and we won't visit that area again. That's what I'm looking for when I talk about my hodl bags. Now, this stream is trade for a living, but I just thought that it's plausible that you or valuable to you guys know that from a investor point of view, the strategy is different to what I'm sharing on this trading stream. So make sure to watch this afternoon's video where we're going to be looking at that. Okay. Then what I like to do with my trading is also I like to look at the daily time frame. And that's why the short was introduced, the 107 short. So from a daily point of view, if you think about it, it's too soon even to say that the short is over or the market has moved too much or and. It's literally just too early. Maybe we need to do this and do that because now everything looks a little crazy. Okay, it's too soon. We're in a second day or third day in the entry. I found that statistically, any trade that I take, I need at least 25 candles. That's the long it basically takes for the thing to play out. Any trade that I take. Let's test my crazy theory. There's strong bullish divergence. The market was there. 1, 2, 3 candles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There you go. And we went long here. Okay, we went long there. And now I'm saying we need to go short here. That's just statistics, guys. Doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way, but that's just something to keep in the back of your head. So that's why I went bearish on the daily time frame. Okay. And when we look at this thing from the 4-hour point of view, this was the daily sell zone on the 4-hour. And that's now secondary test. And I'm going to be hunting with everybody in the Discord a tighter, shorter entry to try and get this thing drive down, in order for us to still go and bounce and meet that weekly objective at 120. Okay, hope it makes sense. Let's look at the other alts. Guys, who of you guys got some Solana? Simple. Who's got Solana? Let me know in the comments. Who's got Solana in their wallets? Who's got Solana? Once they have a look at that. And then maybe what we need to do is one additional other coin other than Ethereum. Let's not look at Ethereum today. Let me know in the comments real quick if you've got a coin that I think we need to look. Louis, let me know. I want to hear from you. Okay. Renee, you're probably just going to ask me about Link again. So I don't know. Something different. And let's see. Okay. Let's see. He says he's got Solana. Okay. So let's do this. Let's go and have a look at Solana real quick. So I'm going to bring up my Sol chart. So that was the sell zone that I shared for Solana. And the problem that I had was, bigger picture, we've had resistance here, lost. So Bitcoin where Bitcoin is looking literally like this on a fractal at the moment, to be honest with you. Okay. And we've got resistance because support was lost. We wanted to see Solana just keep on going indefinitely. We all do, but it just doesn't always play out that way. We lost it, retested it, and moved down. So we identified critical resistance areas for price going forward. Let's take away those green lines. Okay. Resistance areas. So when the market started rallying, I said, hold your soul. We'll be good for 180. We got a 180. Now I'm saying to you guys exactly the same. Solana probably 150. So we went to 158 already. So a little bit lower probably be the sweet spot area in order for us to start bouncing up. Now, I look at these candles, guys, and I just throw these targets out. So sometimes it might look, especially if you're new to it, I'm just gambling, but I can do the TA in my mind already, looking at everything that's happening in there. That just comes over time for doing this now for years and years at end. So I can spend time drawing lines with you guys, and at the end of the day, the target is all based on where would be the next plausible area for support. If you look at this from that point of view, it's so simple. Okay, there was resistance there. The market finally broke through that resistance. It's going to try and turn it into support. And all that you need to do once you identify the support area is just marry that up with the closest demand zone you can find. And that will typically be the area where the bounce will happen. Okay. Now, looking at this entire structure, there's two areas where I think is interesting. That institutional candle that we've got there and that demand zone that we've got there. We've already bounced in the one demand zone. The next area would be price trying to go to the institutional candle if we cannot make a higher high, which means 50% of whatever that candle price action is where smart money is waiting to buy the bloody dip. And that's what I want to do with my spot coins. Okay. So that's my plan for Solana. It's as simple as that. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Yes. What's wrong? Give a little bit more likes. I have to be honest, Dewey. I've never, ever in my entire life liked a YouTube video. So I get it. I'm the guy asking you. But I've never, ever in my entire life liked a YouTube video. I'm a hypocrite. So, but please don't be like me. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the video with somebody, man. Come on. Okay. So that is Solana for you guys. Anything else that you guys want to have a look at, let me know. If not, so we're 90 minutes in. Maybe let's call it a video and I'll be back. There's a late one coming in, curve. Let's do a curve just for the sake of it. Curve. I'll look for a spot pricing because it's more honest. With leverage, there's always forced liquidations and buys. The wicks are a little more crazy. Okay? So always just try and look for a spot buy. So let's start off with this. I'm not going to look at the buddy indicator right now. Okay. So what do we have for curve on the 4 hour? The big question is this thing turning bullish or bearish at this moment? I've now given you guys some information there. So we can look at this as an area where resistance would be, and resistance would be. Okay. Now, the big thing is each time we go make a step, the amount of time we're spending there becomes less versus that. The amount of gains that we make become less. This is a little bit of a blow off, but basically that. So it shows you that momentum is running weak. Okay. And up until now, the corrections was very seldomly in a situation where the white candles outperformed the blue candles. Now, this little move that we had now, remember, this is a large play that we had, is trying to turn the tide and to hold to support. So what I would not want to see, or don't want to see with curve, is this white candle falling below that level. So if you want to trade curve, all of this is almost going to be your, I want to see this thing bounce their zone. In order for this thing in order for you to have a chance of this stepping up these levels and making a higher high. So there's a demand zone sitting right there at the bottom. Okay? So anything below the demand at 65 cents, then I will be worried. Then I will be really worried, because then curve could potentially go back down to these lower areas. So where it's at right now, moving forward, you want to play the long game, fall below the demand zone, then you're going to be worried. Okay, then you have to say, okay, maybe this thing is turning around. Trade in harmony with the trend as always, which means if we zoom out a little bit further, you're still expecting more upward potential. Okay, that's the play. There you have it. Okay, so poke back customs, or pokey back. I think I said it right. There's your coin. Thanks for the request. Guys, thanks for taking the time. See you this afternoon. So the play is very simple. We just need to hit this Bitcoin and understand that the tide is turning, the candles is turning, and it's going to look bullish at a top. Tops look bullish always, just like bear lows look bearish always. There's always going to be at a high an excuse and a reason to say there's going to be more. There's always going to be at a low an excuse and a reason to say that it's going to be going lower still. And that's the unknown, and that's why we need risk management with these setups. Okay, that's it. Have a lovely day. Thanks for taking the time, guys. See you in the afternoon. Cheers.